So we're going to look at how to solve proportions. A proportion is when you have two fractions that are set equal to each other. So an example that we're going to work on today is 6 over k minus 1 is equal to 8 divided by k minus 6. So you're going to see that these fractions are equal to each other. And as we go through our steps, our very first step that we're going to do when two fractions are equal to each other, we can do what's called cross multiplying. Okay, cross multiply, I'm going to do this in highlights, means you're going to multiply on a diagonal. So this 6 is going to be multiplied by the k minus 6, and this 8 is going to be multiplied through by the k minus 1. So when we do our cross multiplication, your second step is then to distribute. So let's do that. What we saw first was we took 6 and we multiplied it through by k minus 6. Notice that I'm using the sets of parentheses around any of the binomials. Binomial means it has two terms. And I'm going to keep it as an equals because of that equal sign. These are two fractions equal to each other. So the one multiplication equals the other multiplication, which is 8 times k minus 1. And that multiplication comes from pink. So you can see my yellow multiplication and my pink multiplication. So step number 2 says we need to distribute. So I'm going to distribute this 6 into both sides. And I have 6k minus 36, that's that distribution, that means multiply, equals, I'm distributing this 8 into both, so I have 8k minus 8. Previous videos that I've showed, when we solve equations, we want to isolate the variable, which means we move all of your variables to one side and your numbers to the other. And in order to do that, in order to do our solve step, we need to do our opposite operations. So to move this 8k to the left, I need to subtract 8k. It's the opposite operation. It was positive on the right, so to move it, we make it negative on the left. That will combine to become negative 2k minus 36 equals negative 8. Now, just like we did before, we're moving that negative 36. So to do that, I have to do that opposite operation. So I'm going to add 36 to both sides. I will then have negative 2k equals positive 28. And then we have one last step. We're going to divide by negative 2. I will get a k equals negative 14 as my answer. So remember, when you see proportions, when you see two fractions that are equal to each other, we do what's called cross multiplication.